If you clicked on this video, you probably understand that running has a ton of benefits, right? There's the physical and mental and emotional, even social, financial for some people, right? I want to talk about a benefit that I've heard some people talk about, but I don't think it's very common, or at least people don't explain it in the way I think about it, so I wanted to make a video on this. When it comes to running and this benefit I'm talking about in particular, the way I describe that is running helps you understand like life formulas, if that makes sense. Meaning, there are certain things you learn as a runner. For example, consistent training over time makes you better or faster or fitter or whatever. And so you need consistent training over time, and being consistent is important in that. And so you realize that as a runner, and so when you understand that, you take that into other areas of life. At least I do, right? So someone who's in sales, as I consistently role play and train and watch sales videos every day, I will become a better salesperson. And you might be saying like, "Oh, duh, Reese, like of course, like everyone knows you have to do things and put in work over time." But for me, it's contextualized differently because of running. Like running is the embodiment of all these different life formulas, and I'm going to talk about a couple more. But it makes it so much easier to implement that in other areas of life, because you could have told me, or someone's probably told me, like consistent effort over time is going to get you the things you want. But that didn't really land until I had the physical understanding of that through running. It just, like, I don't know if it changes brain chemistry or what, but for me, now I break things up into like short term and long term goals naturally because of running. And realizing, let me just focus on this week, but this week added up through 3 months is going to make a massive difference. And that's what I'm talking about with life formulas is there's things you learn in running that immediately translate into life because you get the tangible experience of it through training and through running. Another really great simple one that I think a lot of runners understand is hard effort, and being uncomfortable gives tons of pride when you get a ton of pride when you get through it. Or like the effort is the fulfillment, right? Or overcoming something difficult is rewarding. Like you understand that the comfort zone is not where you get all the fulfilling and rewarding things in life. It's when you're uncomfortable that you develop and you feel satisfied in certain things, right? And that's something I could have heard or read a quote or maybe even read a book on, but until I had experienced having a really shitty 100-mile race, but still getting through it, that's just so much easierly, if that's a word, easierly translated into life. Because it's like I've experienced it, I've lived it, opposed to just reading the book or seeing some Instagram picture quote that says hard work is how you get satisfaction, right? Like it's cute and it's cool, but it doesn't land as well as doing 10 marathons in 10 days and walking away from that, understanding that concept. Like David Goggins talks about, he's not a, how does he put it? Basically, he's not a like professor, he's a practitioner. He doesn't understand these concepts in the sense of he's read about and seen the studies. He's a practitioner, and that's how he's experienced it. And so these are a couple like life formulas I'd say that because of running, it's just like so easy to implement it into everyday life, right? I mean, even just something as simple as understanding I need enough fuel in my body to be able to function. Like I get it from a running perspective of you need calories to keep going, but you also need calories to get like throughout your day and to have your brain functioning as best as possible, right? And so maybe you skip a meal and if you fast, that's great. But maybe if you just like don't eat enough throughout the day, of course you're not going to be feeling great. You need those calories for your brain to function, for your body to function, for all these systems to work. And so there's probably many more different life like formulas that come out of running. But I think the big difference between like hearing about them is running is that you truly know it. Like to know it in the sense of you've been through it. And I don't know. I gotta start thinking of more like life formulas because I think it's just easy. It makes sense. And for people who aren't runners that are watching this video or have heard these things, I don't think they're going to get it as much unless they experience it in some other different way. Maybe lifting weights or playing instruments or things like that. But I like the term life formulas because it's stuff you're always like it doesn't matter what area of life or the different contexts of life, it fits in all of them, right? Like if you want to get better at an instrument, you have to put consistent effort over time. If you want to be better at cooking, consistent effort over time, right? If you want to have a great relationship, you need to put consistent effort over time. And that's something I've learned from running that works in every area of life. The doing uncomfortable things is where the fulfillment is. That could translate into relationships. If having that uncomfortable conversation can bring you closer, or just all of the above, right? I could go on and on about this. So that's my explanation of this benefit from running that a lot of people, I don't think, they haven't explained it the way I'm thinking about it, but I think a lot of people have talked about something similar. So that's just the way I think about it. I appreciate your time. I've been running for 10 years, more consistently over the last 3.5 to 4 years. If you like content like this, tips, tricks, mindsets, training, advice, things like that when it comes to running, feel free to hit that subscribe button. If not, no worries. I appreciate your time nonetheless, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Peace!